Katika mraba wa 6, Steven Mutunga Mbiva, National Youth Service. Kila laheri katika shindano hili. Ashari kabisa, basi tunaanza bila muskil wa aina yote, ambapo katika leni ya 4, leni ya 5, Edwin Kimtaito Magereza, Edwin Kimtaito Magereza anatamatisha shindano kwa sekunde 10.85, 10.85, lakini muda rasmi utakuwa unatolewa na wale wa juu.
Elenia Tamo, Edwin Kimtaito Magereza, Edwin Kimtaito Magereza anatamatisha shindano kwa sekunde 10.85. Elenia Tamo, Edwin Kimtaito Magereza, Edwin Kimtaito
Kama mshiriki uweze kuchukua nafasi yako na kuwa tayari wakati sahihi. Asante sana. Studio wewe unaweza kuendelea. wapenzi wa riadha, shindano tunalosubiria kuweza kwamba kuwepo kutoka sasa ni shindano la mita 200 hivi kwa wanaume ambalo litakuwa ni semi finali. Baada ya shindano la mita 200 itafuata shindano la mita 10,000 kinadada ambalo litakuwa finali, alafu shindano la mita 400 kuruka viuzi vile itakuwa ni semi finali kwa wanaume. Baada ya shindano hilo itafuata shindano la mita 100 wanaume, vile itakuwa ni semi finali. Wanatimaye tutakuwa na kumbusheni ndipo tuweze kwenda vizuri tu na kwa pamoja. Lakini sasa shindano tunalosubiria kwamba wakati wote ni shindano la mita 200 ambalo ni semi finali kikivu cha wanaume. Alafu tunaona mwandazi ameweza kufika ni mchogo wa safari wametoka London kwa ajili ya mashindano haya. Ila report kikiwemo mjuzi ama wanachuoni kubwa sana wa duka ya Kinyenye, naomba kumpa nafasi aweze kuendelea.
So once again, Matia, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back to
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Unanipata? Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Iko sawa?
so that tomorrow is a straight final for the remaining events.
Very good afternoon to you wherever you are. Welcome to this day one of the All Africa Games trials here at the Nyayo National Stadium. It's been a very eventful day that we hoped would start in the morning, and of course we were here in the AM. Things didn't really run out as they were, but that's a story for another day. We have already seen one race complete, and that is the 100 meters decathlon with Edwin Kimutaito winning it in a time of 10.85 seconds. And of course this is just the beginning of a two-day trial period here in Nairobi as we try and get athletes to represent the country at the 13th All Africa Games. And that is the first race that happened moments ago. Edwin Kimutaito of Prisons reigning supreme in this one, winning in a time of 10.85 seconds and ensuring that he books a space to the next round. And of course, remember the decathlon is all about accumulating points, and so many events come in between, and that shows you that there's still more to come. But coming up next is the 200 meters semi-final. 3 hits in this one. We'll be giving you more and more of what to expect in this one. And of course, if you're joining us, this is the 5th day of March 2024, just a few days before the 13th African Games. to be held in Accra, Ghana, and today we are live at the Nyayo National Stadium. Quite a huge turnout here from morning, waiting to see the stars who will represent the country at the 13th All Africa Games, and most if not all races will be finals. And Kenya boasts a rich history in the games of athletics, as usual, topping the headlines in this rich history of athletics. Remember last time in 2019, Kenya collected a total of 31 medals with 10 gold, of course coming from athletics, and of course they'll be aiming to continue the trend when the games begin. Of course they begin in the next 3 days, but we have matters at hand. That means that we'll have to select a squad, athletes that will be representing us at the 13th All Africa Games here that will be happening in Accra, Ghana. Remember, Kenya has hosted these African Games. By the way, that was in the year 1987. Just to give you a little bit of history, in 2019 the games were held in Rabat, Morocco, with 290 athletes cleared to compete. Only 259 managed to get through to Morocco and of course compete, and Kenya won 11 gold, which means they were ranked 7th in the continent on 10 gold, and of course 11 gold, 10 silver and 10 bronze from the 2019 games, and 10 of the 11 gold of course came from athletics, and we are here to select the best to represent us in Accra, Ghana. Some of the athletes who just made sure that the athletics crown remained intact were Benjamin Keegan, the 3,000 meter steeplechase runner, won gold in Rabat. Lilian Kasait Rengerut in 5,000 meters. Samuel Gathimba in the 20 kilometer walk, and of course Emily Ngi in the 20 kilometers walk also. We also had George Manangoi winning gold in the 1,500 meters. We had Titus Ekiru winning the half marathon title. Robert Kiprop won the 5,000 meters crown with Julius Yego, of course, the former world champion, reigning supreme in Rabat, Morocco, winning the javelin title. And of course JB Ward Kiprop in the 1,500 meters women, with Vanis Nyagisera winning the women 400 meters hurdle. So those were the athletes who competed in Rabat and won gold for Kenya. And this year we are not sure about the number that will be selected, because initially it was thought to be 30 athletes, but a standoff earlier on today ensured that there was truce at the end of the day. So we expect a larger number than what we have. And of course, as we await for the start of the 200 meters race, I can see in lane number 4 Nyambura there trying out the blocks just before we start things here. So I'm not alone. I'm in the company of Steve, who's been with me since morning and has witnessed so many things happen. Steve, welcome.
Thanks so much, Mulemi. It's been an eventful day, like you mentioned, really eventful, and we've only got one event done for the day. So there's so much more that's in store today. Of course, the 200 meters decathlon for men having just been finished a couple of minutes ago, and now the ladies are on the starting lane waiting to get going with the 200 meters as well. Just one of the two events really that are starting the day. Of course, we have so much more happening today with the 200 meters men heats coming up, as well as the 10,000 meters final for the women. So we have two finals today, the 10,000 meters final for women, as well as the 5,000 meters final for men. Of course, these are events that Kenya have dominated over the years. Remember last year Kenya won the women's 10,000 meters, not last year but the last edition rather. Kenya won the 10,000 meters for women, with Lilian Kasait winning gold for Kenya in the last edition. As we get ready for the women's 200 meters, I'll let Mulemi take you through that.
In lane number 6, that is Ruth Iwaro, and that is Susan Nyambura coming from lane number 6, coming in very, very beautifully. She's taking the lead currently, and you can feel that they are trying really hard, but watch out for lane number 1. That is Millicent Ndoro steaming away from the rest of the pack. Susan Nyambura coming in second, but Millicent Ndoro 23.10. and of course qualifying for the finals, and she's well within the qualification time for the African Games.
Quite dominant there from Millicent Doro. She really made a very good bend there, and really it was just a case of what time is she going to clock there. Very dominant race from her. Of course, she was the favorite going into this race, and I think she's really stamped her authority, and I think she's really put herself in great contention there, and it's going to take quite some beating for her to finish second in the trials for this.
Lane 6, Brenda Masita Prisons.
Beautiful run there by Millicent. Shoulders high, as you can see the bend. Focus on her eyes as she takes the bend there. 100 meters to go.
So once again,
very dominant, putting daylight between her really and the rest of the competition. Showing no signs here of rust, despite having to wait for so long before this event took place. You could see that these athletes, they were ready to take it up. Very, very close competition there for second place, which is won there on the line.
Of course, Susan Nyambura coming in second. Of course, will be confirming the timings, but then Millicent Doro just showing what she's capable of doing. Can see also Sharon Mora, the younger sister to Mary Mora, also trying out in this one, and that means we'll be watching and waiting to see who makes it to the final. But of course, Doro winning it in a time of 23.88 seconds, and that shows you that we are ready for the second heat of this semi-final. And if you're joining us, this is the third race of the day, the second semi-final of the women 200 meters, and you can see quite a rich field of athletes there, and of course coming through very well in
semi-finals women's 200 meters. Right in that group is Masita.
That is Matsisa coming through. Mary Kidake coming through, but then it will be Masisa 24.43. She makes it to the final, but that was quite a slow one, Steve, and she'll be kicking herself, asking as to why she did not make it, because the qualification time is 24.0.
Yeah, much slower this race, of course, there. But like I said, really, it's been a long wait, and not every athlete must have had really the energy to keep going up until this time. You know, you always come in the morning and your muscles are waiting for you. As you see the replay there, very close run here by the athletes in the second heat, which is won here by Masitsa. She takes the bend there, shoulders high. You can see her head rocking, really pushing herself to the finish line, Masitsa, and she makes it to the final, which will of course be contested tomorrow. So make a point to join us tomorrow as well, where we will be doing the finals. Brenda Masitsa there from Nairobi, winning the women's second heat here in 24 seconds, 0.83.
As it's Brenda Matsitsa of Nairobi, and straight away we go to the main competition, which I expect fireworks here, because this is a rich field of event, and of course very, very, very talented runners waiting to showcase their case there. Like we can see Kilian Kiprotich of Central. We have Simani Regau, the man from Rongai Athletics Club, in lane number 2. We'll also have Innocent Kadima, the 23-year-old, with a personal bet of 21.6. posted on 26th of January in this very venue. And then we have Innocent Kadima in lane number 3, of course. We'll have Samuel Chege Waweru, the 25-year-old, with the personal best time of 20.75. We'll have Eric Kimathi, bib number 70. That is Samuel Chege Waweru of Ngong Athletics Club. And then we'll have Eric Kimathi, Meshak Babu Kibusuli, the most experienced here and the most successful runner in this field. Of course, second, third during the AK meet here that was held at the Ulinzi Sports Complex. And of course, we'll have Meshak Babu, whom we've talked about. Lane number 6 is missing, but then we have Ronald Kiprono Koech of Police. Of course, this is a man who's had 10.9 over the 100 meters. So missing from this one is Eric Kimathi and Meshak Babu. That is in lane number 5 and in lane number 6. And that means that we'll have 5 participants in the first semi-final of the 200 meters. So in lane number 1, that is Kilian Kiprotich. In lane number 2, Simani Regao. Watch out for this man from the Rongai Athletic Club, the man who studied microbiology at the University of Nairobi. And then we have Innocent Kadima, the 25-year-old, with a personal best of 11.04 seconds in 100 meters and 21.6 in the 200 meters posted on 26th of January right here at the Nyayo National Stadium. And then we'll have the man himself, the young man, the 25-year-old from Ngong, Samuel Chege Waweru, running in lane number 4. And then in lane number 7, Ronald Kiprono Koech of Police. So it's the 200 meters first semi-final. We await for the start. Mani Regao, a former student at the University of Nairobi, and that is Innocent Kadima, and that is Samuel Chege Waweru, and of course Ronald Kiprono Koech. 10.9 over the 100 meters. What can Ronald do here? The man from Police. It is the first semi-final of the 200 meters happening here at the Nyayo National Stadium. If you're joining us, this is the 4th race of the day after witnessing 2 semi-finals over the 200 meters women and of course the 100 meters decathlon men that was won by Edwin Kimutaito. So this is the 200 meters semi-final number 1. And off they go nicely there. Watch out for Samuel Chege in lane number 4. And of course Simani Regao taking an early lead heading into the bend towards the 100 meters. And you can feel Ronald Kiprono Koech taking the lead. But then Samuel Chege, as we had predicted, steaming home. We'll be looking at the time heading into the finals. It's 20.77. Brilliant stuff. Not yet through the qualification time for the games, but yet going to the finals.
Very good run by Emmanuel there, Samuel Chege Waweru, the 25-year-old from Ngong. Very good run from him there. It was a fairly strong field, but he really put his shoulders above the rest here, and he wins here in a very good time, very respectable time if you ask me. You can see him there already at the bend. You can see him, he's already taken that lead, very focused on his race here, doesn't look back. Then he pumps forward, 100 meters there to go. He looks ahead. At this point, I feel like he knows that this is going to be his. So it's just a case of a race against time here. And he wins quite easily there, I must admit. You can see there on lane number 5, Ronald Kiprono Koech from Police taking the second spot there.
Of course, the young man Ronald Kiprono Koech running from lane number 7, but then look at the time, 20.77. I think he might be preserving the energy for the final, this young man Samuel Chege Waweru, and of course we'll be waiting to see what is capable of doing heading into the final. And straight away we shift our focus not on the fire exit, but semi-final number 2 of the 100 meters. Expecting lane number 1 Benson Kateshi of Machakos. Stephen Ochengo Luoch, the man from KDF, 10.81 over the 800 meters, 21.08 over the 200 meters. Of course, he posted this in his own home turf. That was at the Lindsay Sports Complex during the second Athletics Kenya meet earlier on in January. And then we'll have Peter Mwai Ndichu of Police will be running in lane number 3. Mike Mokamba, the 27-year-old for the African champion, will be running in lane number 4. That's Mike Mokamba of KDF, the African champion. He won silver in the Diamond League, of course, and of course that is Daniel Kiviasi Asamba, and of course Brian Onyari Tinega of Police. And in lane number 7 is Dennis Nyongesa of Nairobi. So this is the second semi-final of the 200 meters. Missing is Brian Onyari Tinega of Police, but then watch out for Kiviasi Kasamba and Mike Mokamba in lane number 5 and 4 respectively.
Of course, Mokamba and Kiviasi both represented Kenya in Rabat in 2019. Remember, Kiviasi was out in the semis while Mokamba went to the final, where he finished last in a race that was won by Zambia's Sydney Siame. And away we go there. Very even start here, Mulemi. As you see, Mokamba pumping forward at the bend. But here comes Mike Mokamba again, showing his experience here. It's between Mokamba and Kiviasi. Mokamba and Kiviasi. Who wins it here? So of course it is Dan Kiviasi. Dan Kiviasi wins this as he gets into the final. Kiviasi again, like I said, who was eliminated in the semi-finals in Rabat in 2019. Looks like he wants to go all the way this time round up until the final, Mulem.
I think Peter Mwai Ndichu came in third from Police. We'll be waiting to see the official results as they trick in. But that is the second semi-final of the 200 meters, won by, of course, the experienced Mike Mokamba of Kenya Defence Forces, closely followed by Dan Kiviasi Asamba. And you can watch, this is how it went. The second semi-final of the 200 meters, a very, very good takeoff there by Dan Kiviasi. He lifted his head just after clearing the first bend there, and straight away Mr. Mokamba came in and he knew exactly how to press the button when it reached the 100 meters, and you can see the confidence that he had, and steaming away from Peter Mwai Ndichu, who was leading the way into the first 100 meters. But then look out of Mokamba, showing the reason as to why he's the African champion over the 200 meters. Dan Kiviasi, of course, easing through, coming in second, knowing that he's already attained qualification time for the final that will be held here tomorrow in this All Africa Games trials here at the Nyayo National Stadium. So that is the second semi-final of the 200 meters, and there are the two lads, and that is Mr. Peter Mwai Ndichu and Dan Kiviasi exchanging niceties after this very, very good race in the 200 meters. And of course, we shift focus to the third heat of this 200 meter semi-final. And of course, in lane number 8 on your screens is Robin Wanjala Wateba of Police. In lane number 5, of course, is this is Andersen of Denmark, trying out the young man. And on your screens there is someone who just finished competing in the previous race. That is Dennis Nyongesa. The heat taking toll on him, and you can see him limping. Dennis Nyongesa, who competed in the 200 meter semi-final, number 2. I'm sure he'll be attended to by the medical team. I hope it's nothing serious. Yes, you can see he's being directed to the ambulance, the treatment area for that matter. But Watch out for Hesbon Ocheng in lane number 4. But that is Anderson, the man who tore the field apart just over 3 weeks ago in this very distance. But then watch out for this man, Moses Wasike Onyango's in the lead at the moment. But then look at the man from Denmark, Anderson and Wasike. Who's the mom? It's Anderson at Wasike. It's a photo finish, 21.25. Very close to tell. Let's wait and see. 21.25. Mr. Wasike, Moses Onyango and Anderson. Wow, this is what we call a photo finish.
The rest of the competition so far, they really gave us a competition there that had a lot of fans really getting up their feet and pushing them to the line. Gonna be a photo finish, this one. Moses Wasike, it looked like Anderson was gonna catch up. You can see Wasike having a very good start there, inside the lane of Anderson. Always good when, especially two top athletes, when they're running close to each other, it makes you keep good track of each other. Look at the 100 meters there to go. Still nothing to separate the two. Look at Anderson pumping forward his arms. Wasike also saying, I'm not letting this go. Looks like Wasike has got it here, but the big powerful figure of Anderson is coming back. It's going to be a DP, and I feel like Wasike just got it on the line. Or did he?
So close to call there, but you could feel that Anderson had matters in his own hands. You could see, look at the two athletes. One was grimacing, one was very relaxed. Wasike tried really hard to steam away from Anderson, who's decided to up his game towards the last 30 meters, and you can feel this just went Anderson's way.
Yeah, and that is really where now your physique matters, during the last 50 meters. That is where now the 100 meters, the endurance and the speed and the power really comes into play when you really need that last push to take you onto the line. And I think that is just what gave Anderson the edge there.
And it is fast and furious, and on to the 10,000 women final. That is Monica Wanjiku Wangui in bib number 166, and of course that is Edna Jebitok, Jerotich Kibiwat, sorry. There is Sandra Phyllis Jebet also in this one. That's in the yellow bib. That is Sandra Phyllis. She is one athlete you'll really love to see how she's running. Top athlete. But this is the 10,000 meters final. 3 chances. Who's gonna take it? We are waiting to see, and for the start of this one. And of course, we'll be watching out for Rebecca Njeri Mwangi. She's been very impressive in the weekend meets, the Athletics Kenya track and field weekend meets. And this is promising to be one race that we'll be looking forward to see who gets the the standard qualification time of 35 minutes 20 seconds. And I'm sure this field is all capable of producing that.
Of course, all these athletes looking at who is going to represent Kenya in Accra, with Kenya being the defending champions of the 10,000 meters through Lilian Kasai, who, remember, last week qualified for the World Cross Country Championships that's happening later in the month. So, of course, none of these athletes here was in Rabat in 2019. So, all these athletes looking at who is going to represent Kenya, and of course, this is one battle with Ethiopia, and so we have these athletes here, and we will be picking only 3 out of the 8 athletes who've come here. And of course, whoever gets in there, they'll be hoping that they can defend the title for Kenya as we get ready for the starter's gun for this competition. And away we go, the women's 10,000 meters, where we'll be picking the 3 athletes who are going to represent Kenya in Accra. Of course, a very rich field here of athletes. You can see very slow measured start here. Nobody really wants to inject too much space here as they begin. Of course, that may just work against you as the race advances. So the trick here is just run a very controlled race don't burn yourself out this early, with still a long way to go. And pardon me, Kasait actually won the 5,000 meters in the last edition, and not the 10,000. The 10,000 was won by Ethiopia, who did a podium sweep with Sehai Gemechu winning the gold in 31 minutes 55 seconds .92, which was followed by Zainaba Yimer, also from Ethiopia, with Dera Dida finishing third. So of course Kenya will be looking to get a hold of that title, and I think we have a good field here, and I believe that the top 3 athletes who come from here will be able to give Ethiopia a run for their money.
It's not all about the Ethiopians, by the way, because you look at the likes of South Africa, they're coming really well in that one. Tanzania is also going to be represented. We'll be waiting to see also the Ugandans, what they're capable of doing in this one. And of course, it being held in Accra, Ghana, I know the home girls will want to make a mark also in the athletic scene. Remember, this is an Olympic year, so everyone is trying. This will also act as a qualifier for the Olympics that will be held in Paris later on this year. And that straight away leading, as usual, Sandra Phyllis Chebet, pedigree athlete over the 10,000 meters. It's so hard to tell who's going to take the first break here, because you look at them, they are really close to each other. Look at that. That is Janet Chepngeny of Keringet also coming through, and of course Edina Jerotich Kibiwot, very seasonal runner for that matter, and taking the second lap of the 10,000 meters. Remember, afterwards we'll have the hurdle semi-finals, both for the men and women, and it's the men's semi-finals, and before ushering in the 100 meters, which we expect also to be very competitive. Mark Otieno making a comeback. Isaac Omura Kundu, the Africa junior champion over the 100 meters, he is also an athlete that will be aiming to raise Kenyan flag high in Accra, Ghana, in the games that begin this very Friday.
Yeah, it's you feel like it's too close to call already. This Friday there's barely time for these athletes really. Hopefully the races won't take a toll on them, because there's just so much time for recovery if they sign this Friday. So you need to be in good condition really, because the pressure will of course be on Kenya to bring quite the medals. Just to give you a brief history, Kenya won. Kenya finished 7th overall in Morocco in 2019 with 11 gold, 10 silver, and 10 bronze. I think our best so far remains 2011 in Maputo, where Kenya got 14 gold, 14 silver, and 22 bronze, bringing home a total of 50 medals in total. That was in Maputo in 2011, where Kenya finished 6th. So of course there'll be a lot of pressure, especially from the administrators waiting to see what Kenya is going to bring home this time round. Of course, you always want to do the very best. You always want to bring in more than the previous years, but it's not always easy because, like mentioned, really a lot of African athletes really are catching up. A lot of African countries are catching up with us. Ethiopia always up there. Uganda are doing well in both men's and women's competitions. Of course, South Africa and of course Ghana, who will be hosting the event, will be looking to put in some very good home performance. So it's getting ever so competitive, but of course we have the quality and the caliber of athletes to keep flying our flags high.
Janet Chepngetich still in the lead here as they head towards the third lap, and of course deciding to set the pace is Rebecca Mwangi. We know that she can run from the front. Sandra Phyllis Chebet falling just a little bit. She's now down to 8th spot here, but then the tall figure of Janet Chepngetich in between Edna Jebitok Kibiwot of Iten, and they seem to be setting the pace for this one as the 10,000 meters women final starts and slowly takes shape. Rebecca Mwangi, her typical way of running things, how do you predict that she will fare on heading into the next laps?
I feel she has a pedigree. Remember, she stunned the field during the first Athletics Kenya track and field meeting in Nairobi last year. She's based in Japan. That's where she trains a lot. So for her, I think when she comes here, I think this is where she loves to come and just compete with the very best the country has in store. So she has the pedigree to stretch this field as much as possible, and you can see she's put herself really at the top there, at the front. She's like, okay, I'm going to inject a bit more pace here. I feel this has been too comfortable. Maybe it's about time we stretch the field a bit more, and you can see she's decided to go in as we come round to finish the third lap. Remember, this is a race that is run 24 laps across the track. So there's still quite a long way to go, but Rebecca Mwangi looks like she's decided, okay, I'll inject some pace here, and it looks comfortable really for all the athletes so far.
Monica Wangui hanging in there. She doesn't want to stay further behind, and you can see she's really trying, currently holding the 9th position, but then it's still too close to tell. Of course, as Steve says, Rebecca Njeri Mwangi, based in Japan, showing why she's back at home to try out and qualify for the All Africa Games. But then you look at how they are lining up. Of course, the games will also be used as trials for the Olympic Games to be held in Paris later on this year, and this is the perfect opportunity for these athletes to try out and see if they can make it to Paris. But still in the lead is Rebecca Mwangi. And of course the tall figure of Edna Kibiwot, and of course we are talking about Janet Kepngetich still in there, but that is Rebecca Mwangi. Sandra Phil is currently in 4th position as they head towards the 5th lap. Victor. Still too close to call. The athletes close to each other. Rebecca Mwangi still dictating the pace there. Edna Kibiwot, the tallest of these athletes, currently in 3rd. And of course, Janet Chepngetich not letting it go, still in 2nd position. Sandra Phil is now in 4th. And of course, that is Monica Wanjiku just checking things from the 7th position currently. But then it's Rebecca Mwangi. Janet Chepngetich of Keringet now taking the lead from Rebecca Mwangi. They're exchanging leads here, and of course Wanjiku deciding to start, also coming to the front. Sandra Phillips hasn't made a move yet.
Sandra Phillips, the double Africa Under-20 silver medalist, putting herself right in the mix there. She's also the world under-18 2,000 meters steeplechase silver medalist, so a lot of experience really on her young shoulders, and she's really right there in the mix, wearing the same bib color as Rebecca Wanjiku. Rebecca Mwangi rather. Very even race here so far. Rebecca Mwangi still keeping herself on top of the queue. As Janet Chepngetich grabs a bottle of water there just to quench her thirst a bit and boost us. Obviously, as you do most of these races, sometimes you don't want to overhydrate, as you are likely to suffer what is commonly known in sports as a stitch. But Janet there just saying a little bit more to quench the thirst will help me go the distance.
Rebecca Mwangi is still in the lead, with Janet Chepngetich still there, hanging in there. Rebecca Mwangi peeping through, checking over her shoulder, and that is Sandra Phillips being, I think there's a tactic to see if they can box out Sandra Phillips. That is Rebecca Mwangi and of course Janet Chepngetich. You can look at how they're looking over the shoulders to see where the real threat is, and that is Sandra Phillips, and you can feel that there is nobody leaving this for chance. Limited spaces, limited numbers, and of course the competition, a pedigree one, all in focus is, and the ultimate, of course, the ultimate prize, and that is qualification for the All Africa Games to be held in Ghana. And of course, some of the teams in Kenya have already gone. The tennis team is already in Accra, Ghana, preparing for this, the likes of Angela Okutoi, and now it's time for the athletes to try out and see who qualifies for this, and that is Rebecca Mwangi quenching her thirst at that water point, and Sandra Phillips, of course, coming from the outside and currently occupying the 4th position, but number 2 and 3 hasn't changed.
No, not at all, really. I think this is how it's been like the last 3 laps. As we see there, Sandra Phillips Chebet saying, okay, I'm good, I can take this over. And of course now the figures of Sandra Phillips and Rebecca Mwangi are both very conspicuous in their yellow bibs, taking the lead there, trying to stretch this field as much as possible as you get ever so close to the business end of the race. Still some distance to go, but this is where really now you start putting the pressure on the rest of the athletes, asking them questions. So far, the answers are there. Every athlete looks like they have the answer really to keep up with this pace. But it's just a matter of time really, and I'm sure that maybe 1 or 2 athletes will get impatient with this pace, or rather they'll just feel like, no, we can inject a bit more. This is a bit too slow for me. And of course, there's so much at stake here. Not just the African Games that are happening this weekend. There's so much at stake. But they're still running here together as Rebecca Mwangi takes back the leading role there, with the taller figure of Sandra Phillips tracking her. So still really nobody has decided to make any decisive move here. Looks like they're all waiting for the final 5 laps. I think that's where we are going to get the fireworks.
So of course to expect fireworks, but that is Rebecca Mwangi and Sandra Phillips, more like what he expected. And of course looking at Edna Kibiwot, they are not letting it go. Of course also Rebecca and Jerry Mwangi in the mix, but this is the 10,000 meters women final. No second chances, nothing to leave, no room to leave anything at chance, and this is the final of the 10,000 meters. You expect too much to be happening here, and of course also watch out for the likes of Mary Manano of Embu. She's also in the mix, so it's not easy to predict what's going to happen. But Rebecca Mwangi, as usual, with a very, very unique way of running, bending just a little bit forward as she takes the strides. And look at the tall figure of Edna Jerotich Kibiwot in 2nd place and Sandra Phillips in 3rd. So this is proving to be a very, very interesting race. And coming from the outside is Sarah Wanjiru of Central, currently occupying the 4th position. She knows that she has a chance, and falling just a bit after taking 2nd position for quite some time is Janet Chepngetich, but still very early days in this one. Rebecca Wanjiku Mwangi still in the lead with, of course, Edna Jerotich Kibiwot in 2nd, and the favorite, of course, Sandra Phillips Chebet in 3rd, currently the former world junior champion.
Yeah, and you can see here Edna Jerotich Kibiwot also just trying to put herself ahead here. She feels comfortable to challenge Rebecca Mwangi and Sandra Phillips Chebet, who've been the two of them who've been exchanging the leads here since the 2nd lap, I must say. But you can see here Janet, the tall figure of Janet there, trying to challenge Rebecca for that lead. Good strides there. As you can see in your images, their feet really going on in sync. Very beautiful images there, you can see. Just shows you that these are athletes who are in sync with their speed. Of course, in most of these long distance races, you always want to pick your rhythm and just progress with it. The moment you interrupt it, then you may find yourself falling back. That's why you find that most athletes, when especially at the water point, you find them just interrupting their rhythm a bit, just to grab the water, and then they settle back into their run. Very, very important for you to just pick your rhythm and move with it. The more you disrupt it, the more I think your body asks you a lot of questions like, why are you doing this to me? So still even Stevens here. As they cross the line, 16 minutes gone here. Just about the same amount of time remaining.
Just about the same amount of time remaining, but look at the tall figure of Edna Kibiwott of E10 currently taking the lead. She's using her strides well, but then Rebecca Mwangi, with typical fashion, seems to be very, very strong. Sandra Phillips currently in third, and of course Monica Wanjiku there, another tall figure in these 10,000 meters, passing through the water point. Nobody really interested, and you can look at Sarah Wanjiru currently in fourth. She is very, very strong. She looks really strong heading into this one, but Sandra Phillips hasn't yet made a move, and she seems to be watching every move that the Japan-based Wanjiru is throwing, and look at that. And of course, just to take you through the lineup of the day, currently we are doing the 10,000 meters, and you can see Sandra Phillips and of course Rebecca Mwangi exchanging a few words there. Seems to have someone seems to have tripped the other here, but still it's a competition, nothing lost, no love lost between the two teammates, and of course they will be looking forward to see who makes the first move. And of course it seemed to have been a communication between the two, and now it's Sandra Phillips who's injected some pace and currently in the lead. Ruth Chepngetich, not really Ruth Chepngetich, but Edna Kibiwott in second place, trying to answer the question that Sandra Phillips asked. Rebecca Wanjiku Njeri Mwangi in third position at the moment, and of course after falling a little bit, Janet Chepngetich now in fourth. The field is starting to separate, and now you can see we are heading into the real business end of matters here. And now Chepngetich and Jerotich Kibiwott in the lead, Sandra Phillips in second, and of course Rebecca Mwangi in third. This is proving to be very, very interesting, and of course just closing by is Janet Chepngetich.
And you can see Janet Chepngetich, they are trying to keep up with the space here. It's getting ever so tight here now. This is the time now where you separate yourself from the crowd. This is where now you earn yourself that ticket, that elusive ticket, that ticket that hundreds, even thousands of runners in Kenya want to get. Go represent Kenya out there. And for today, it's the African Games trials, with the competition happening in Ghana from Friday. As we see Janet Chepngetich there, just getting past Rebecca Njeri Mwangi, who looks like she's falling behind here. As we see Edina Jerotich Kibiwott there, I think the pace that she's injected here is taking a toll on the rest of the athletes. With Rebecca Njeri Mwangi especially, looks like she is out of it. Rebecca is out of it, I can call. She'll need to put in a lot of effort and energy here for her to close down on the top three, as Edina Kibiwott crosses the line there, still leading. Looks like she wants to take this nice and easy, but Sandra Phillips Chebet is not so far behind, as Janet Chepngetich is tracking down Sandra Phillips, and looks like she's going to pass here. So looks like Rebecca Njeri and Sandra Phillips, I think the pace that they set initially, last 2-3 races whereby they were on the lead, I feel like it's taken a toll on them. As you see Edina Kibiwott, some 20 meters ahead of the rest, and looks like she wants to take this home.
Of course, early days in this one, but then you look at the way Edna Jerotich Kibiwott of E10 has taken matters into her own hands, injecting that pace and ensuring that she breaks away from the rest of the field. This will be very interesting, especially heading into the last quarter of this race. Remember, this is the 10,000 meters women final. 3 opportunities. Number 1, 2, and 3, of course, will be selected in the provisional team for the All Africa Games. And of course, right now in the driver's seat is Edna Jerotich Kibiwott of E10, distantly followed by Janet Chepngetich of Keringet, Sandra Phyllis, and of course Rebecca Njeri Mwangi have fallen quite way back, and it will be interesting to see what they are capable to do. Do they have answers towards the questions that the likes of Edna Jerotich and of course Janet Chepngetich have put in these 10,000 meters? So it's really interesting. Look at the way Edna Jerotich Kibiwott has managed to set the pace and ensure that she takes control of matters here in the 10,000 meters. And in second place, the lady from Keringet, Janet Chepngetich, she looks really strong in the second place. Sandra Phyllis in third, and of course Rebecca Mwangi in fourth. So this is the ultimate way of ensuring that you stamp your authorities over these distances. And of course, we are talking about an athlete that has long strides, experience. Edna Jerotich Kibiwott, she's still in the lead. Will she maintain towards the end of matters here? We'll be waiting to see. And of course, in second place is Janet Chepngetich. She's trying to come in and trying to close that gap that has extended to around 30-45 meters. And Sandra Phyllis Chebet way back in third. Now that distance is too long to cover, and we'll be looking forward to see what they are capable of doing. Rebecca Mwangi, who took the early lead in this one, she's struggling to catch up with the rest. So let's wait and see what happens as we head towards the last 8 minutes or so of this one.
I feel like she's tiring a bit there, the leader Edna Kibiwott. I feel like Janet Chepngetich has closed down the gap, and she's eating into that lead ever so more. Makes you wonder whether Edna actually pumped forward too fast, but she still has a very healthy lead here. Edna, and bar a catastrophe, really, for example, a freak injury or a fall or something, I feel like she's going to make it into the top 3 who will be representing Kenya at the African Games in Accra, Ghana. I feel like Janet Chepngetich is smelling blood here, but if I were her, I wouldn't push myself too hard because the third place athlete here, Sandra Phyllis Chebet, is a healthy 50 or so meters away, 70. But Edna still really leading this race quite comfortably, if you ask me. But Janet Chepngetich looks like she's not content with second place. And if she keeps up that speed, she's eating into that lead. You feel like they won't finish this lap before Janet closes down ever so close as they take the bend to finish yet another lap in the next 100 meters or so. So it looks like it's going to be this way with Edna Kibiwott. There she goes, Janet Chepngetich. Very strong run here from her. She looks comfortable. She looks like she's not struggling. But you can see the grimacing face of Edna Jerotich Kibiwott. Just like I've been asking myself, did she go too hard? Yes, she split the field, did her big favor. But in terms of who's winning it, looks like Janet really has the momentum and the endurance to go all the way and win it, as she looks behind to see where the rest of the field are.
We are looking at a race that has 2 very good athletes, and now you can see the overtaking lane. The indicators have been lit, and that is Janet Chepngetich now taking the lead. And I think the difference was when Edna Jerotich went at the water point to quench her thirst, and it was an opportunity for Janet Chepngetich to come and pounce, closing the gap, and we can see she is now in the lead. And of course, in the lead right now is Rebecca Mwangi. Sandra Phyllis Chebet seems to have dropped out of the race. We'll be waiting to see what really happened. Sandra Phyllis dropped out of the race, and now currently occupying the third place is Rebecca Mwangi, and we'll be waiting to see what comes out of this one. But right now in the lead very comfortably is Janet Chepngetich of Keringet. Edna Jerotich Kibiwot currently in second. She seems to be tiring a little bit, just as Steve says, and maybe, just maybe, Rebecca Mwangi might smell blood here, but then it's a huge distance, close to 200 meters of this one. And of course, we'll be talking about who actually has the best management skills to see this through.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the way Janet Chepngetich, who's leading the race, the way she tracked down Edina Kibiwot nice and slow. After every 200 meters, she was hitting into that lead, and now she looks very comfortable. I feel like she can let down her guns now, and she'll be able still to finish this race with just about 3-4 laps remaining before the bell goes to signal the end of this race, or rather to signal the last lap. As she takes the bend there, she's created some distance between her and the dethroned leader here, Edina Kibiwot from Iten. That's Mercy Chemutai Korir from South Rift crossing the line now. She's going to be lapped here by the leader here, Janet Chepngetich. Of course, very easy on the eye, some of these races, until you put on your running boots and get into the competition. That's where now you realize it's never that easy. But of course, these are athletes who they train for this. It's what they live for. As you see Rebecca Mwangi there crossing the line way behind Edina Kibiwot, who's in second place now. So you do feel like a catastrophe. It's going to be Janet Chepngetich, Edina Kibiwot, and Japan-based Rebecca Mwangi, who will be representing Kenya in Accra, Ghana, as from this Friday. Very comfortable run here by our new leader. Not new really, she's been on it for the last 3 laps. Janet Chepngetich from Keringet. Cruising home. Edina Kibiwot also crosses the line. Some 150 meters behind her compatriot here, Janet. Of course, Janet here from Keringet and Edina from Iten, and Rebecca Mwangi running as an individual athlete. But the moment they go to Ghana, they are going to be putting on the Kenyan kit. They'll be representing the country and hoping to wrestle the title from Ethiopia. And not just Ethiopia. This is a distance that world over is becoming ever so competitive. Remember, it's a competition that Kenya has continuously won. The likes of Helen Obiri, the great Vivian Cheruyot, some of the athletes who have made Kenya proud in this distance. course, all this happening at the Nyayo National Stadium in Nairobi. It's the women's 10,000 meters final. As Janet grabs a bottle of water there. I believe that will be the last one. She'll be able to last her until she crosses the line here to win this final. Very focused run here by the leader from Iten, from Keringet rather. She comes to cross the line here. And she takes the bell. She takes the bell there. Janet Chepngetich. It's daylight between her and the second place athlete here, Edina Kibiwot, who is just getting into the bell now. She gets an applause from the crowd just to push her. She gets the bell there. Edina Kibiwot, who made the decisive move in this race, but then she pumped too much, and that gave Janet Chepngetich the opportunity to pass her at some point. As Rebecca Mwangi also gets the bell here, she's going to finish third. She takes the bend there. Janet Chepngetich. She's coming to win this. Janet Chepngetich injects the last pace. Very controlled run, beautiful run. Look at that finish. You think like you feel like she just finished this race and you feel like she still has the energy really to go another five laps here, Mulemi. Very, very good run from her. Timed it perfectly, was not desperate, took her time, was patient even when other athletes were exchanging leads. But at the end of the day, it works for her. As we see, Edina Jerotich Kibiwot also crossing the line to finish second.
Currently ranked 31st in the 10,000 meters in the world. That is Janet Chepngetich. But on your screens is the lady who showed that she is capable of enduring all the heat thrown and all the things thrown at her. That is Edna Jerotich Kibiwot of E10 coming in second. And that's the winner, Janet Chepngetich, and that is Rebecca Mwangi coming in third. But then you look at Chepngetich. She's an athlete who has a pedigree of doing well globally, and you look at her finished fourth at the Valencia road race earlier on in this year. That was on 14th of January. She also participated in the Valencia half marathon in 2013, finishing third, but she was a winner of the BRL 10 kilometers in Praha. So Janet Chepngetich just shows you that this is her specialty, especially in the 10,000 kilometers and 10 kilometers. But I'll be handing over to Charity to hear what
God help me. Yeah. Ukirudi sahi pengine mazoezi utajitayarisha vipi? Siku zimekaribia. Naenda kujitayarisha sahi. Kuanzia kesho naenda kujitayarisha. Kwa sababu najua kesho niko hapo mbele. Thank you so much. That was Janet Chepngetich. She's just clocked 32 minutes and 52.74 seconds to win the women's 10,000 meter, and she's definitely booked her slot for the All African Games that will be held from March 8th to March 24th. Over to you, Greg.
Very much, Charity, speaking to Janet, of course, Chepngetich, winner of the 10,000 meters women final, and of course we are waiting to see the end of some of them, and that is the athlete from Central, Sarah Wanjiru, competing that one, and of course being cheered as she crossed the finishing line. As we head towards the start of the 400 meters semi-final. Afterwards we'll have the 100 meters semi-final. We'll also have the 200 meters women final. no, the 200 meters women final has already taken place, so we await for the start of the 400 meters hurdles. That is the men's semi-final coming up in a bit.
Janet Kibiwot,
and before that, that is Edna Jerotich Kibiwot talking to Charity.
Niliona mlianza kwanza ina pack of 4 and then kidogo kidogo ukachwa na Janet, but ulikuwa umekazana. Umefeel aje?
Okay, for me I feel good because this is my first time to represent Africa, and I had trained for it but sikuwa sure juu hatukuwa tumefanya speed ya kutosha. Yeah.
Perhaps kushida na access facilities za kiwanja, ama mbona unasema ukuweza kukua umejitayarisha vizuri?
Juu sikuwa train na spikes, but I used my racing. Juu sasa kwa speed yetu huwezi anza na spikes direct, so unaanza na racing then spikes. So ilikuwa tufanye spikes on Saturday. So on that Saturday nikapata invite nikuja hapa, so nikaambiwa na coach nikuje ni train ni na hii then spikes nitatumia tu ndio kama nitakata team.
Okay, all the best and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That was Edna Kibiwot. She finished second in the 10,000 women's final. She's saying that she was not really sure if she would have made it for the team, but she tried her best and she's been able to make it for the team. Over to you, Greg.
Edna, they are having an interview with Charity, saying that she was only informed of this availability on Saturday. She did not train for it. But what an athlete, if you did not train for this and then you come here and finish second, stretch the field, an experienced field, a field of this caliber, that just shows you what an athlete we have in our hands. Of course, I guess the lack of training taking its toll on her after she had injected that pace, but she had it all to go and finish second and get her chance to represent Kenya at the African Games. That's starting in Ghana on Friday, as we move swiftly into the men's 400 meters hurdles competition, where Kenya was there in 2019 with William Bevy and Edward Ngunjiri, who are both here today, competed. And of course Aaron Koech was also there. He's not here today. Ngunjiri went all the way to the final, where he finished 7th. So he'll be looking, him alongside William Bevy will be looking to go to Ghana again this year. Of course, the 400 meters is one lap race. One of the most intense short sprints in athletics.
In lane number 2, that is Edward Ngunjiri of KDF. There's Newton Kipngetich of Police in lane number 3. We'll have William Bevy Mutunga of KDF in lane number 4, Kipkori Rotich of Police in lane number 5, and Sami Kiprop Rugut of Prisons, another very experienced runner, in lane number 6. And also so missing is lane number 4 and 7, and straight on they go. And of course we'll be looking at who takes the early lead, and that is Sami Kiprop of Prisons, currently in first place, and that is Newton Kipngetich coming in strongly in lane number 3. But then watch out for this man, Rotich, currently in the lead at the moment, beating the Prisons man Sami Rugut, currently in second place, and heading towards the bend into the last hurdles over the 100 meters, and that is Kiprotich Rotich. But then watch out for lane number 2 and 3. That is Newton keeping it, but then Kip Korir will be taking this one in a time of 51.37. Just failing way a bit from the qualification time, but yet again qualifying for the final. In second place was Sami Kiprop Rugut of Prisons, who also had a very, very good race in this semi-final.
It was too close to call this one as the athletes tried to navigate and outwit the hurdles as well. Of course, a very, very tough race this one normally is. You have to really judge your steps before you take the hurdle, and of course you miss out or you hit the hurdle, then that affects your momentum. But these athletes, they've been doing this for quite some time. They made it clean, and of course they are the winner here, Edward Ngujiri. They are winning from KDF. You can see no that was as you just look at the replay there, you can see the run on the bend.
Kip Korir Rotich, of course, representing Police, winning this one, and you can see how he cleverly took that hurdle just ahead of Newton keeping a teach, who is also coming in from the police department, and it was really, really close. And the last hurdle was the one that determined how Kip Korir Rotich went on to win this one, and it was really, really interesting, and you could feel he did what he had to do to break away from Newton keeping a teach of Police to win this one. And straight ahead we go to the second semi-final of these 400 meters, and we'll have the likes of Nicholas Kiplimo Kesio in lane number 2, and that is the man we are talking about. We'll also be looking at Peter Ndai of KDF in lane number 3. Meshak Baraka, watch out for this young man in lane number 4. Peter Kitome Mudoka of Southern, and Geoffrey Kipngetich Mutai of Prisons. Those are the athletes. I can see Baraka is missing in this one, so he's coming back. He's doing the Morris Green type of thing, just taking a stride on the track, slowing down and easing the pressure to ensure that he's in the best shape before the start of this race. And he's the man to watch in the second semi-final of the 400 meters. That is the man I'm talking about, Meshak Baraka, of course. And in lane number 3 is Peter Andai of KDF. Also watch out for Nicholas Kiplimo, another brilliant hurdler coming in from lane number 2. And of course Geoffrey Kipngetich Mutai of Prisons. But this man, Meshak Baraka, let's wait what he can do. Of course the qualification time is 50.8 seconds. Who's gonna make it? And off they go smoothly, nicely, and of course Baraka taking the first hurdle just as we expected, and currently taking the lead. And coming in second is Peter Kitome Mutoka of Southern, but then watch out for Meshak Baraka currently in the lead as they head towards the last 200 meters, completing this nicely. And of course from the outside is Geoffrey Kipngetich Mutai of Prisons, but then Baraka in the lead currently. This man is using all the experience that he has coming into this one, heading into the last 100 meters. It is between Baraka and of course Geoffrey Kipngetich Mutai, and Peter Kitome Mutoka coming in strongly, and Kitome and Baraka, who's gonna take it towards the sprint, and Kitome just eases through 51.24, finishes ahead of Baraka.
Yeah, Peter Kitome Mudoka there winning this. Very nice and easy. He was running from the outside lane, and you felt he looked comfortable. Of course, he has to navigate. He has to go the longer distance, but he made good use of his lane. Of course, with Meshak Baraka coming in strongly during the last 50 meters, but Peter Kitome Mudoka had it all. He had the momentum really, and he just had to look slightly into his shoulders. So Meshak Baraka coming in strongly, and he pushed in. He gathered his last energy and ensured that the win is his. The man from Southern, Peter Kidome Mudoka.
From the hurdles we go to the sprints, but of course we have to remind you of what happened there. Baraka taking the early lead, but then Mutoka showing why he is one of the names to watch out for in the coming years over the 400 meters hurdle, taking that nicely, and you can see the long strides heading towards the last 100 meters. Mutoka was in cruise control of this one. Baraka coming in second, trying to close that gap just ahead of course Peter Andai, who really tried so hard but then did fell out towards the end. Geoffrey Kipngetich Mutai of Prisons did not have any answer towards the questions that Mutoka and Baraka had posed in this one, and that is how Peter Kitome Mudoka of Southern stormed through, winning this one despite the pressure from Mr. Baraka, and of course qualifying for the final of the 400 meters. So that is the end of the 400 meters semi-final hurdles, and now we shift our focus to the 100 meters that will begin shortly, and it is the semi-final. Expect a rich field of events and rich field of athletes competing in this one, but 51.24 semi-final number 2 still way out, but then tomorrow is the D-Day when we find out who qualifies for the 400 meters hurdles.
Yeah, absolutely. Today we having only 2 finals on cards. Of course, we've already seen the 10,000 meters women's final, which was won by Janet Chepngetich. The other final on the cards today is the men's 5,000 meters final, which will be coming up to you. But of course, now we are going into the men's 100 meters, and of course, expecting fireworks here. Marco Tieno is there, represented Kenya in the last edition at the African Games in Rabat, but failed to make it past the heats. And of course, he'll be lining up against the young Omuru as well. So it is going to be fireworks, this one. Of course, the senior Omuru are not here today. He's flying bigger fish in international competitions. So another exciting race here. You don't want to miss this.
Of course, as we await for the start of the 100 meters semi-final, of course, 3 hits in this one. We'll be waiting to see what happens. But of course, results from the previous events, starting with the 100 meters, the 200 meters women semi-final number 1, where Millicent Noro of Police won in a time of 23.18 seconds, just ahead of Susan Nyambura of coming in second, 25.55. In hit number 2, Brenda Masitsa of Nairobi won in a time of 23.43. Just ahead of Gladys Mumbe of Southern, 25.27. And of course, the men also had their semi-final, the 200 meters, with Samuel Chege Waweru of Ngong winning semi-final number 1, 20.77, ahead of Ronald Kiprono Koech, 21.33. Simani Rega of RAC, 21.58. RAC is Rongai Athletic Club. In semi-final number 2, Mike Mokamba of KDF comfortably won in 28.88, ahead of Daniel Kiviasi Asamba, 20.94, and Stephen Otieno Oluoch of KDF, 21.05. In semi-final number 3, Moses Wasike Onyango just edged Kasper Anderson of Denmark. Both registered 21.24 in a photo finish. And of course, Dennis Kiprono of Sinonin came in third, 21.46. So right now we shift focus to the 100 meters semi-final number 1. 3 semi-final hits in this one. And of course, in lane number 1, expect Vincent Mwinde of Southern. In lane number 2, there will be Sylvester Simiyu of Utawala Springs Club, Meshak Babu of KDF in lane number 3, then Tyson Juma, and that is Meshak Babu for you of KDF, Tyson Juma Omondi of ESSP, that is Justin Isaboke Mogoya, very young and upcoming athlete, and that is Innocent Kadima of ESSP, and that is Richard of Guto Police, and Eric Kimathi completing the lineup in lane number 8. So it's the first semi-final of the 100 meters, a complete field here, and we are expecting to see who reigns supreme. 10.2 qualification time. As we await for the start of the 100 meters men semi-final number 1, and the track officials demand silence, and we'll have a restart of this one, and quite some tension. But then watch out for Meshak Babu, Tyson Juma, and Justin Saboke in lane number 3, 4 and 5 respectively. As you see the start of this one, and a green card to all the athletes, and we'll have a restart of this one, the first semi-final of the 100 meters, where we have Vincent Muinde in lane number 1, Sylvester Simiu in lane number 2, Meshak Babu in lane number 3, Tyson Juma Omondi in lane number 4, Justin Isaboke Mogoi in lane number 5, Innocent Kadima in lane number 6, Richard Ogutu in lane number 7, and Eric Kimathi in lane number 8. That is Eric Kimathi. Another faulty start here, so we'll be waiting to see what the track officials will have to do here. Maybe if we get a replay of this one and see exactly what happened, but that is, we don't know yet. Let's wait and see what happens after the restart.
Yeah, one of the most tense races here. Somebody must have done a false restart here. Oh yeah, absolutely. Lane 1, Vincent Muinde here. The pressure telling on him, and he is out of this race. Very unfortunate for him. And of course, this doesn't make the work of the rest of the athletes any easier. This is a time where now there are no second chances. You miss out.
The young man from Southern not able to start in this race after being eliminated, rather carded, and off we go smoothly. And watch out for Meshak Babu in lane number 6. But then that is Meshak Babu for you. He'll be winning his one 10.47, just ahead of Tyson Juma.
Meshak Babu there, very strong finish from him, and he keeps up with the pace up until the end. Meshak Babu, of course, with Tyson Juma Omondi from ESSP putting the pressure on him, but Meshak Babu looked like he was in control right from the start, and he wins this heat, I would say, nice and easy. And straight in we go into the men's 100 meters semi-final 2. On lane 1 is Mr. Betson Kahesi Samuel, all the way from Machakos. As we look at the replay here, a very good start now after the false start there by Vincent Muinde, who was disqualified. Look at Tyson Juma Omondi, they are powering home. His big figure they are powering home, but Meshak Babu looks lighter and fitter here, and he has the skills, the energy and the drive to finish here as the athlete on lane number 5 there, Justin Isaboke Mogoi, finishing their third.
Justin Isaboke already showing us what he's capable of doing this season, coming in third. The athlete who comes from KDF, and that is Casper Anderson, preparing for semi-final number 2. The man who's already finished second in that photo finish in the 200 meters, 10.24. He finished just behind Wasike, and look forward to this one. It's yet another semi-final we are waiting to see, and we'll be giving you the lineup in a bit. Of course, in lane number 1 we expect to have Benson Kahesi Samuel of Machakos, Charles Nyamwe of Nairobi will be in lane number 2, Isaac Kundo Muru of Nairobi in lane number 4, Simani Regau, and that is Casper Anderson in lane number 4. the man who has shown us what is capable of doing in this one. And of course, he's taking the... That is Benson Kahesi in lane number 1. Charles Nyamweya of Nairobi. Simani Regao, the former University of Nairobi student. That is Isaac Omuru Akundu. And that is Kasper Andersen of Denmark. And that is Robinson Motende, a very experienced sprinter here. Duke Ogot of Police. Also missing is Dan Kiviasi, who had just competed in the 200 meters of this one. So it is Kahesi in lane number 1, Nyamweya in lane number 2, Rigao in lane number 3, Isaac Omurwa in lane number 4, Robinson Motende in lane number 6, and of course Duke Ogoti in lane number 8. And there you go smoothly, and off they go. That is Robinson Motende coming in smoothly. But then look at Isaac Omurwa, will be winning this one. We'll be looking at the time, 10.46. And I think Simani Regao might have just come in second. Kasper Andersen, just after showing us what he's capable of doing in the 200 meters, was not able to keep up pace with this one, finishing a distant 7th in this one.
Yeah, he is devastated, as you can see. He never just got it right from the very start. He got a very, very slow start and never just picked it up. You feel like he gave it up the moment he stepped off those blocks and went for the race. As we look at the replay there, look at Anderson. He's had a very poor finish, but look at Omurwa there, powering home. Looks nice and easy, very comfortable with his run. He powers home. The dominant figure there of Omurwa. Anderson had a false start and never really got up. Very easy finish here, as we see. I believe Simani Rigao finishing second here. But yeah, I'm sure that Anderson will be very disappointed. I wonder if maybe his exploits in the 200 meters maybe paid put to his chances of winning this one.
Of course, it's true, because he just barely rested before the 100 meters, so it might have taken toll on him. But straight away, we look forward to seeing what the likes of Benson Okot can do in the third heat of the men 100 meters. So Edwin Omondi will be running in lane number 1, Stephen Onyango Diambo in lane number 2, and the man on your screen is Edwin Omondi, and that is Benson Okot also. Hesbon Ochieng, that is Edwin Omondi for you. Stephen Onyango will be running in lane number 2. Stephen Otieno Oluoch in lane number 4. Hesbon Ochieng in lane number 5. Dennis Nyongesa in lane number 6. And Mark Kanyete and Elkana Sabila in that order. Out for the man of prison, that is Hesbon Ochieng, a very, very fast sprinter here. That is in lane number 8, Elkana Sabila. Mark Kanyete, another brilliant sprinter. And that is Dennis Nyongesa of Nairobi. That man, Hesbon Ochieng, a very experienced runner, 29 years of age. That is Stephen Otieno Oluoch, another brilliant sprinter from the Kenya Defence Forces. Stephen Odhiambo, another man from KDF, running in lane number 3, and of course the young man Edwin Omondi of ESSP, and that is Benson Okot. So a complete field in this third semi-final of the 100 meters. And off they go smoothly, and straight away we look at Hesbon Ochieng and Benson Okot, the two guys, and of course from Stephen Otieno Oluoch of KDF, but then Hesbon takes it. Hesbon Ochieng from Prisons, the most experienced sprinter in this field, taking it home just ahead of Stephen Onyango Odhiambo of KDF. This was very, very close to tell, but then Hesbon showing what he has in store heading into the finals.
Of course, using all his experience really there to pump his way to the finish line here, beating Stephen Onyango, who also really gave it a go here. You can see Hesbon there, good strong start there by both athletes. You can see Hesbon rather pumping forward there as Stephen Onyango Odhiambo also tries to challenge him from lane 3, but Hesbon showing, you can see him grimacing. It's almost a photo finish, but Hesbon, I feel, just had enough really just to edge it there. But very, very good run there by Stephen Onyango Odhiambo also from KDF.
And of course, Stephen Otieno Oluoch of KDF coming in third. It wasn't really going for Benson Okot, and he found it really, really tough. But then happy faces there from the Kenya Defence Forces duo of Stephen and Hesbon, of course, from the prison department, winning that one. So that is the end of the 100 meter semi-final men, and they head straight to the call room, and we shift focus to the 100 meters. That is Eunice Kadogo for you, the former national champion in the 100 meters, former national record holder in this one, and of course it is the 100 meters women semi-final. That is Susan Nyambura, finished second in the heat of the 100 meters, and she'll be fancying her chances here.
Of course, Eunice Kadogo here today didn't make it past the heat in the previous edition in Rabat, Morocco, but Kenya went to the final thanks courtesy of Maximila Imali, who went all the way to the final, but she finished 8th in a race that was won by Ivorian great Marie Josetta Lu. But of course, Eunice Kadogo looking for another ticket here to go and represent Kenya at the All Africa Games.
And of course, the lineup: Delisha Atiang, there is Joy Akinyi, Susan Nyambura, Millicent Doro, Eunice Kadogo, Monica Safania, Lois Nyanchoka Morara, and Quinteka Navai Kisembe. And there they go smoothly. That is Susan Nyambura taking off smoothly, but then watch out for Eunice Kadogo coming in very, very smoothly, and she will be winning this one just ahead of Monica Sefania. So Kadogo finally beat Sefania and clinches the ticket to the final of the 100 meters women.
Definitely happy with that, Eunice Kadogo. She won this race from the back. She didn't have like the best of finishes, but she had really the power to power home with like 50 meters to go. As you see an athlete here calling herself Neymar Junior. She has a favorite written Neymar Junior. That's very interesting to see. That's very interesting to see. As you look at the replay here, you can see Eunice Kadogo. She's not so much in the picture now. Susan Nyambura was, but you can see Kadogo really, her gait very much forward, and she powers home using her hands really to propel her forward. Look at the run here also on the outside lane by Lois Mora, who gets the second spot here, but Eunice Kadogo using all her experience here to win here for the National Police Service in the women's first heat. As we move swiftly into the second heat of the women's semi-final, 100 meters. On lane 2 here is Edna Ugendi from RAC. On lane 3, Martha Lucy from Nairobi. Rukia Omulisia from KDF will be running from lane 4. And then Esther Mbagari Okanga from Nairobi in lane 5, close to our compatriot Brenda Masitsa from Nairobi also, who will be running on lane 6. We have Doreen Waka, perhaps the favorite here, running for Prisons in lane 7, and Lillian Aoko from Nyanza North representing, starting rather from lane 8. It's the 100 meters second semi-final. On your photo there, Esther Okanga, Dorin Waka there in lane 7, and on the outside lane is Lilian Aoko, lane 8 from Nyanza North. As we get ready for the second semi-final of the women's 100 meters. And now Gendi, lane 2, Lucy, lane 3, Omusila, lane 4, Okanga, lane 5, Masita, lane 6, Doreen Waka, lane 7, and Lilian Aoko in lane 8. And away we go. Look out for Esther Okanga here. A very good start here from Esther Okanga. She's gonna win this, Esther Okanga. Very, very easy. If you ask me, Esther Okanga in 11 minutes 80. It never really looked in doubt from the very beginning, Esther. I feel like she had control of this race and she wins easily. Doesn't break a sweat even. Esther Mbakari Okanga from Nairobi. As we finish the heats for this competition, and now we are moving into the 800 meters. Seeing the replay there. No false starts here. Very good start there by Esther. And she establishes her dominance here as early as possible, despite the competition there from Doreen Waka. Never looked like she was troubled. Very comfortable. She could even afford to slow down during the last few meters there. And it's between Edna Ogendi and Lilian Aoko for the third place there. Remember, all this action coming to you live from the Nyayo National Stadium. It's the African Games Trials. In what is going to be a competition that started in Brazzaville, Congo in 1965, the first edition, with 30 nations participating. Right now, it is 54 nations participating. Remember, Kenya hosted this event in Nairobi 1987, and it was inaugurated by the late Daniel Arap Moi. Kenya obviously being always so strong, especially in the athletics events. But funny enough, Nigeria have always topped the standings in the athletics. But once in 1973, when Kenya, which were actually held in Nigeria, when Kenya topped the standings with 7 gold, 8 silver, and 8 bronze ahead of Ghana. As we get ready for the men's 800 meters semi-final, hit 1. In lane 1 there is Laban Kiprorit from South Rift. From South Rift is Elias Ngeny from Central Rift. In lane 2, Ferguson Cheruyot Rotich. I'm sure that one is a very familiar name to many an athletics fan. Is in lane 3. Koitatoi Kidali running as an individual athlete is in lane 4. Cornelius Tuwe in lane 5. Lenny Kotikash in lane 6. Billy Carl Ingabire also listed here in lane 6. Wycliffe Kinyamal, another man to look out for, in lane 7. And of course Alan Kipiego from RAC in lane 8. Of course, all eyes will be on the figure of Ferguson Cheruyot Rotich as we go into the starters.
800 meters semi-finals.
2 laps for this. semi-final one of the men's 800 meters. Of course, all eyes will be on Ferguson Cheruiyot Rotich and Wycliffe Kinyamal, two athletes who have experience, who have international experience. As you see, Alan Kipyego there, as Kinyamal takes the lead here. They'll be coming for the bell when they cross the line. This is now where it all comes to life now. As they take the bell here, Kinyamal still ahead there. With Koitatoi Kidali just running on Kinyamal's shoulder. You can see Ferguson Rotich settling there in third. He loves running from that position. Kinyamal and Kidali there starting to stretch the field there. Ferguson Kiprotich drops there to third and on to fourth now. The last 200 meters as they take the bend here. You can see the grimacing face here of Koitalel Kidali. Can he hold on? Kinyamal there rocking his head as Alan Kipyego, who is going to be Kinyamal wins it here for police. Kinyamal wins it here for police. Ferguson Kiprotich dropped way back. One of the favorites for this. Kinyamal wins it in 1 minute 56 to mark the end of the first semi-final of the men's 800 meters. As we go into the second heat, which I will be sharing with you the start list for that as well. I'm sure Kiprotich will be disappointed by his placing here. He just never looked like he was in it. Kiprotich right there on your photo looks extremely disappointed. He dropped way back there. There's no way he was going to challenge the winner here, Wycliffe Kinyamal. Koitatoi Kidali there having a very good race. But Kinyamal using all his international experience there to ensure that he won this race. As we get into the second heat of the 800 men semi-final, lane 1, Jonathan Kitilit from North Rift. From Eldoret is Alfred Kipteter, Sabania Kiprotich Rotich in lane 3, Aaron Kemei from Nairobi lane 4, Alex Ngeno Kipngetich from Prison lane 5, Kelvin Kimutai from Iten lane 6, and Kelvin Kimutai Koech in lane 7, Nicholas Kebene, one of the favorites for this race, in lane 8, and John Lokibe Taban in lane 8. It's the second heat of the men's 800 meters semi-final. Of course, and away we go. 2 laps. Look out for Kelvin Kimutai and Nicholas Kebene. The athletes now can come together. Aaron Kemei there, the man, the lanky figure of Aaron Kemei from Nairobi leading here. Kelvin Kimutai just running there on his shoulder. As Sabania Kiprono Rotich also comes into the picture as they come into the line and they take the bell. Take the bell, which means they are coming to finish this. Still very strong running there. That's Sabania Rotich. Aaron Kemei there. Alex Ngeno there trying to challenge it's Aaron Kemei, the tall figure of Aaron Kemei here, as it takes the bend there, Aaron Kemei, and he is pushed to the finish line here by Alex Kipngetich. Kipngetich actually goes past Aaron Kemei and is going to win this. Very nicely timed race there by Aaron Kemei there. He had the lead there, Aaron Kemei, but Alex Kipngetich had the power really to get past Kemei in the last 20 meters and make this win his own, and that marks the end of the men's 800 meters. You can see a very confident run there by all the athletes, but when the bell rang, that is where now the men are separated from the boys. Those are pictures coming to you, replays of the first lap in the men's 800 meters. Aaron Kemei there was in control for much of the race, front running. But Alex Kipngetich timed his run there perfectly. You can see there still. Aaron Kemei still leading there at the bend, with Alex Kipngetich just trailing him there in second place as they took the bend. Kelvin Kimutai was also in the picture there, and so was Nicolas Kebene, but it always looked like it was going to be between Alex Kipngetich and Aaron Kemei, and Alex does go past Aaron Kemei to win the men's 800 meters semi-final second hit.
As we smoothly move forward with our program.
Alex Ngeno, of course, finished second in the national trials for the World Athletics Championships in Budapest. And of course, this is a one-time World Under-20 silver medalist, of course, the African Under-20 champion, and of course, one-time national champion just before the Tokyo Olympics. And is one athlete that we'll be looking forward to, and he has the capabilities of ticking all the right boxes as we head towards the All Africa Games to be held later on this week. From later on this week in Accra, Ghana. Quite a good turnout here on day one of the trials for the All Africa Games. And of course, after the 100 meters men, we'll be looking forward to see the next event, and looking forward to the 5,000 meters that will begin shortly. But straight away, we'll be looking forward to seeing what happened here. Of course, in the AM, very slow activities. And of course, we switch focus to the 5,000 meters men final.
Getting ready for the men's 5,000 meters final. Not such a big athlete, rather not such a big field here today, which is very unlike Kenyan, if I may say. We have Meshak Letim was Kiprogut, Cornelius Kemboi, Daniel Kosen, Emmanuel Korir Kiplagat, and Isaac Kibet Ndiema as the men who will be vying for the 3 slots available for Kenya in the men's 5,000 meters. It is a final, this one, no need for hits. Of course, Kenya winning gold, silver and bronze in the previous edition in Morocco. Robert Kiprop winning gold is Edward Zakayo getting the silver, and Richard Yato winning the bronze for Kenya in the previous edition. I'm told, unfortunately, there are only 2 athletes who came for the men's 5,000 meters, and by the rules of athletics, you cannot have a competition of only 2 athletes in the men's 5,000 meters. So we will not have that competition being run here today, which is very unfortunate, given, of course, like I mentioned, Kenya's previous performance in the previous games, where they managed a podium sweep through Robert Kiprop, Edward Zakayo, and Richard Yato. So we'll go into the men's 400 meters as the next event.
The 400 meters for both men and women. The 400 meters men and women. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, celebrants have to be pushed as finals.
Going to the men's and women's 400 meters semi-finals. We have 2 hits for both.
Nonetheless, they will be done tomorrow. We will have a team to represent Kenya at all Africa Games coming up in Accra, Ghana. So once again, very quickly, we look forward to the next event, that is the men and women 400 meters.
Of course, running in the women's 400 meters here today will be Mary Mora, the 800 meters specialist. She'll be running in the first semi-final.
Going on. We still have the high jump. We have the high jump on the other side of the track.
Mora, who finished 6th for Kenya in this distance
We have the last event coming
at the last edition in Rabat. Of course, she'll be looking to improve on that. Should she get the opportunity to go to Ghana.
Vita 400 ndio itakuwa kabla ya mwisho ama shindano la mwisho jioni ya leo, siku ya kwanza ya mashindano yetu ya riadha hapa katika uga wa Nyayo Gatuzi na Nairobi.
Remember to join us for the finals tomorrow here, where we'll be knowing who will be the athletes who will be going to Accra, Ghana. Tomorrow is the day of the finals. That including the 400 meters for both men and women, the 100 meters for both men and women. We will also have the 3,000 meters steeplechase final tomorrow, as well as the 1,500 meters.
Women's 400 meters. Women's 400 meters.
As we wait for the women's 400 meters, which will
As we appreciate the presence of men
be the penultimate event of the day.
coming in for the first semi-finals of the women's 400 meters. There we see her leading the athletes coming in to line up for the 400 meters.
As you see the women coming there. In your picture here, Mary Mora will be looking to appear in a second straight 400 meters appearance at the African Games. She'll be running from lane number 5. So keep your eyes on her. Just one lap. You give it your all. So, lane 2 there will be Nelly Chebichi from Eldoret. Then Police will be in lane 3, 4 and 5 with Joanne Cherono running in lane 3. Veronica Mutua in lane 4. Mary Mora in lane 5. Grace Kidake in lane 6 from the coast. Jacqueline Nanjala in lane 7 and Emma Wavinya from Nairobi in lane 8.
Joan Cherono, Veronica Mutua, National Police Service, Mary Mora, National Police Service, Grace Kidake, Post, Jacqueline Nanjala, Emma Wavinya. That's the semi-finals, the first semi-finals of the women's 400 meters. So Nelly Chebichi,
Joanne Cherono,
Veronica
there on your picture.
Mary Mora, Grace Kidake, Jacqueline Nanjala, Emma Wavinya.
There is Mary Mora in a very conspicuous green kit there as they get ready to start. It's Nelly Chebi from Joanne Cherono, Veronica Mutua, Mary Mora, Grace Kidake, Jacqueline Nanjala, and Emma Wavinya from Nairobi. The women's 400 meters semi-final one. And away we go.
So once again, ladies and gentlemen, that's the start of
The women's 400 meters semi-final first
400 meters.
heat. Mary Mora looks like she's established her dominance early in the race as she gets into the shoulders
National Police Service.
of Grace Kidake.
Also in that race is Joan Cherono, National Police Service.
Mora here still leading from lane number 5. She pumps forward. Mora, she takes the bend here. The African champion, head and shoulders above the rest. There was never really doubt as she gets into the last 50 meters here. She's pumping home. Mary Mora, head and shoulders above the rest. As Jacqueline Nanjala from Dura comes in second spot. And she gets a big hug there, Mary Mora. Very dominant race here from her. It was never a doubt really from the first. This 800 meters specialist, of course, just using the power that she's used to and the experience that she gets running international competitions. Of course, she'll be looking to appear in the same distance at the African Games for the second edition running, and looking also to improve on her 6th place finish last time. She must be very happy with that win, Mary Mora. It was expected, but it's never given.
And of course, getting a big hug from the 3,000 meters world steeplechase record holder, that is Beatrice Chepkoech, who happens to be a teammate. They're running for the same team, and it's something that we see happen very often, where they do lift each other in such a way. But Mary Mora, one of the champions of the athletics rights and the athletes right rather, and you could see she's been in the forefront making sure that everything is streamlined and everything is in place, and that's why we are having these championships currently happening. And look at how she took the bend towards the 100 meters, very confident. We know her for her prowess in the 800 meters, but you look at how she tore the field apart, ensuring that she stayed in the front, and she is in great shape this season. Something that you cannot take away from her. She's the one to watch throughout this year. An Olympic year, Diamond League season, yet again the Kip Keino Classic happening right here, and Mary Mora seems to be ticking all their green boxes and ready to conquer the world. And of course, she wants to start with next week's All Africa Games to be held in Accra, and we hand over to Charity to hear what she has to say with the world champions over the 800 meters now.
Na tuendelee na competition, tusi kupenda kwetu sisi kama athletes, so we need to focus. Yes.
For the African Games, will you be doubling in the 8 and 400?
No, I'm going to run 400, and then maybe if the little is inside, I will double.
Thank you and all the best. That is Mary Mora. She's saying that she will compete in the 400 meters and also in the 400 meters relay. We are next to the second heat of the 400 meters. Over to you, Greg.
Of course, Charity, they're having a chat with Mary Mora, who's just obliterated the field to win the women's 400 meters semi-final one. She'll be looking to go into the African Games for the second edition running. As we get into the second heat, quickly to go through the lanes. Lane 1, Gladys Mumbe from Southern. Lane 2, Janet Chepkoech from Prisons. Lane 3, Damaslin Bonareri from Prisons. Mercy Jebet from Mercy Jebet in Lane 5. Millicent Doro, the favorite here in Lane 6. Maureen Nyatichi in Lane 7. And Rose Ihisa Uwaro in Lane 8. And away we go. Damaslin Bonareri looking really strong here during the early stages of this race. A very good run from the inside lane also there from Gladys Mumbe. As they take the 200-meter bend, and it's at the home stretch now where we'll know who is on the lead here. Mercy Jebet looks really strong here. It's a race to the finish line between Maureen Nyatich Thomas Who is going to be Maureen Nyatich? Thomas is going to win this. I feel like Mercy Chebet just got it there. Maureen Thomas. Maureen Thomas there wins this race from Police. And that was the second heat of the women's 400 meters semi-final too. Of course, the first one won by Mary Mora. As you get the replay on your screens now.
So once again, we appreciate all the visitors who come to support us in forming the Kenya national team to these All Africa Games starting.
Mercy Chebet there looked like she had it in the bag.
And tomorrow is
but Maureen Thomas gritting her teeth, trying to find that extra stride to get past Mercy Chebet, and the two athletes are competing all the way to the finish line. And Maureen Thomas just about gets it with a very good dip in the line. Mercy Chebet should be happy with that.
That event has been held here before in 1987.
And of course, the finals for this competition will be run tomorrow, where Maureen Thomas and Mercy Chebet will be going head-to-head with Mora, who won. As you get to have a chat with Charity.
This race is done there. How does it feel for you?
I'm feeling great. Yeah.
Preparations zako sahi ziko vipi? Unaona a possible chance of a medal?
Yes. Kwa sababu nimetrain at least I'm coming up. Yeah.
That is wonderful for you, and all the best.
Thank you.
We have some breaking news from Athletics Kenya. They have said that they are pleased that to know that following the consultations with the Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs and Creative Economy, the number of slots available shall be increased, subject to the athlete meeting the qualification criteria for the games. The AK technical team will work closely with the athletes during the trials to achieve the objective of selecting Team Kenya as required. That's the message from Athletics Kenya. Earlier on the day, there was a protest of athletes. They were against the selection criteria of the African Games, where they were requiring only one athlete to go and run. But a number of athletes raised their concerns and said that they need to also give an opportunity for upcoming athletes so that they can also create a continuity and also be able to medal. And now we've received communication from the federation saying that they have had their cries, and the number of slots is going to be increased. So the athletes to perform as is required for them to increase their chance to make it for Team Kenya. Over to you, Greg.
And the athletes are now walking towards the track area. Semi-final number 1 will have the likes of Laban Korir expected to run in lane number 1. Of course, Samuel Toili should be running in lane number 2. Kevin Kipkorir, Central Rift, in lane number 3. Nathaniel Kipngetich of Prisons in lane number 4. Danson Kibet in lane number 5. And Gabriel Mutenke Larmoi and Jared Lambweke Momanyi, both of KDF, in lane number 6 and 7 respectively. This will be the last event of the day. As we look forward to yet another eventful day tomorrow on day 2 of the Africa Games trials here at the Nyayo National Stadium. So this is the 400 meters semi-finals. 3 hits in this one. That is Kelvin Kipkorir in lane number 4. Nathaniel Kipngetich of Prisons in lane number 5. Danson Kibet of Central Rift in lane number 6. Gabriel Mutenkere Larmoy of KDF in lane number 7, and lane number 8, Jared Nyambweke Mumanyi. So that's the lineup for the first semi-final of this 400 meters. Of course, this will wrap up the day 1 of the African Games trials here at the Nyayo National Stadium. We started in the PM because of a few hiccups that happened earlier on today, and everything now sorted out, and the athletes are raring to go, book the places to the All Africa Games to be scheduled in Accra, Ghana from the 8th to the 24th of this month. And athletics is just one of the events that Kenya boasts, earning so many medals, including 10 gold in the last edition that was held in Rabat, Morocco. But first of all, the mission is to book places to the event, and that is Jared Mumanyi of KDF. Loves running from the outside lane. That is lane number 8. Let's see what he's capable of doing in this semi-final of the 400 meters. And off they go smoothly. Jared Mumanyi off the blocks and taking those long strides. But then look out for Nathaniel Kipngetich of Prisons in lane number 5, streaming really well. That is the man to watch. Kelvin Kipkorir of Central Reef. That is Jared Mumanyi. Always love taking those long strides from the 8th lane, and there he goes, still in the lead. But then watch out for Nathaniel Kipngetich. And that is lane 4, that is Kelvin Kipkorir now in the lead, just ahead of Nathaniel Kipngetich. So it's the battle between Kipngetich and Korir, and Kipngetich just edges out Kipkorir to win that one in a time of 46.67 seconds. Nathaniel Kipngetich of Prisons edging out Central Reefs Kelvin Kipkorir to win that one.
Yeah, Jared Mumanyi had a very blistering start there on the outside lane, on lane 8, but it always looked like it was a bit of a misjudged race as he ran out of gas as he took the bend. And of course Kevin Kipkorir and Nathaniel Kipngetich battling it out there for the first 10 second spot. You can see already Jared Mumanyi there starting to fade out, but then the gentleman on the inside lane there taking the war all the way to the line. Kevin Kipkorir there looking like he had it, but he was running out of energy there. And you can see Nathaniel Kipngetich pumping his shoulders high, summoning that last energy and just about edging it on the line. He dips there and looks at him, more of like a congratulatory look really, like thank you man for pushing me all the way through. So very good run from the gentlemen in lane 4 and 5 as they finish first and second respectively in the men's 400 meters first semi-final. And over to the second semi-final, where we have lane 3, Alan Kipiego, Emmanuel Mutua running from lane 4, Brian Monyari Tinega from Police in lane 5, David Capirente in lane 6, Roger Zouma in lane 7, and Ivan Edalia in lane 8.
The second semi-final of the 400 meters, Alan Kipiego, Emmanuel Mutua, Brian Tinega, watch out for this young man in lane number 5, Daniel Sayane Capirante of Prison, Roger Souma of Nairobi, and Ivan Edalia of Nairobi in lane number 5. But that man in lane number 3, Alan Kipiego, also a very good name to watch. Emmanuel Mutua, another brilliant middle distance runner. But this is a place where they can make or break their season. The trials for the All Africa Games, and this is the second semi-final of the 400 meters. And there we go. and nicely they get off the blocks in the 400-meter semi-final number 2, and straight away watch out for David Sayaneka Pirante of Prisons in lane number 6, coming in really strongly, and Brian Tinega of Police also very strong in contention for this one as they take the bend towards the last 200 meters. Brian Tinega, David Kapente, Emmanuel Mutua all fighting out for this one, but also watch out for Emmanuel Mutua coming in very smoothly in lane number 1. Alan Kipiego trying so hard to stay in the lead, but then in lane number 6, David Kapirante coming in smoothly. Will he be taking this one? Yes, he has. 46.03 from this man, David Sayaneka Pirante of Prison, winning the second semi-final of the 400 meters and stamping his authority, heading into the final with full confidence, of course, en route to making sure that he gets that qualification time of 46.5 seconds and make it to Team Kenya for the Accra Games.
Yeah, of course, Kapirante being pushed all the way by Brian Tinega. Alan Kipiego also looked like he was in the picture. He was in contention there during the last 50 meters, but he just faded away as Kapirante and Tinega battled for the final, the top 2 spots there. You can see it's really even Stevens there as the athletes take the bend. It's really hard to call here as they come into the home stretch there. Kipiego pushing really from the inside lane there, but you can see Kapirante there starting to power forward. He's pushing forward. Him in the black kit there, he's pushing forward there. Does really focused on his race, looking at the finish line there. Tinega tries to give up a challenge there, and Kipiego also coming in from the inside lane, but Kapirante had it all, and he cruises home to win the men's the second heat of the men's 400 meter semi-final.
Emmanuel Mutua also trying so hard, coming in second, just ahead of George. Emmanuel Mutua just coming ahead of Roger Souma to win that one. That's the second semi-final of the 400 meters, and into the last one, the third semi-final of the 400 meters. Kulwar Liam in lane number 2, Joshua Ndombi of KDF, another man to watch in this one. In lane number 3, Kennedy Kimeu Muthoki of Ngong. In lane number 4, Kelvin Kiprotich Tonui, another brilliant middle distance runner. In lane number 5, George Mutinda of the Universities. In lane number 6, Erastus Mbaluka of GSU. In lane number 7, and lastly, Gilbert Nyamau of Prisons, also seeking qualification to the All Africa Games to be held in Ghana. And I'm told this will be the last event of the day, the 400 meters semi-final number 3. So missing is lane number 2, so we'll have at least from lane number 3, that is Joshua Ndombi, Kennedy Kimeu Muthoki in lane number 4. In lane number 5, Kelvin Kiprotich Tonui, George Mutinda, Erastus Mbaluka, and Gilbert Nyamau. And the third semi-final of the 400 meters gets underway here, and look out for this young man, Kelvin Kiprotich Tonui, in lane number 5, trying so hard to make sure that he shows the rest of the field what is made of. But George Mutinda also coming in smoothly, but it is Erastus Mbaluka trying so hard, but then Kelvin Kiprotich coming in strongly, but then it is still close. Balula coming in. And that is Kennedy Kimeu. He'll be coming home. Kennedy Kimeu Muthoki steaming away, and he'll be winning this one. 45.86. Amazing stuff here from this young man, Kennedy Kimeu Muthoki.
What a boss run by Kennedy Kimeu Muthoki. Was not favored here at all, but he looked always like from the from the 400 meters mark, he looked like he was going to get this. He took a very good run there on the bend and looked like it was his victory really. Very good run here from Kennedy Mudhoki, beating a very, very strong field that had the likes of Joshua Ndombu, a very experienced runner in this competition, and of course also had the likes of Erastus Mbaluka, who are known in this distance. He's really not in the picture there, but he's pushing forward as he comes into the shoulders there of Kennedy, of Joshua Ndombu. He's pushing forward at this point in time. Not much really separate the athletes, but you can see Kennedy Kimeo Mudhoki pumping forward there as they take the bend in the 200 meters distance there. Still too close to call here, but you see athletes like Erastus Mbaluka and Gilbert Nyamau struggling really there on the outside lane, but Mudhoku does look very comfortable as he navigates that bend, looking very comfortable if you ask me, and into the 100 meters he goes, pushing forward, pumping forward. Very beautiful strides. Look at him go. Look at the athletes behind him grimacing there inside Joshua Ndombu and Kelvin Tonui. Easy victory here. He really worked on this from the very beginning, and he wins this very easily. Mr. Kennedy Mudhoku.
Expect plenty of action on day 2 of the trials for the All Africa Games, including the 1,500 meters, both men and women, the 200 meters men and women final, of course the javelin, the 400 meters men final, the 400 meters men, and of course the 5,000 meters. So plenty of action tomorrow. It's been an eventful afternoon here in Nairobi at the Nyayo National Stadium as we brought to you the first day of the 400 meters. But before we go, of course, Kimeo is talking to Charity, and let's see how
my reaction is very poor. I was working mostly in my reaction and the running style. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So where do you train at?
Most of my time I train in Gong, but I went for Botswana for more reaction, for more training. Yeah.
And so you feel like, is it working out well for you?
Yeah, it's working, very working. Yeah, I thank my coach Doz and coach Nyarunda. Yeah.
So going back now, if you're going for the finals, what will you be working on as you head for All African Games?
Me, I will just go and work for my reaction and finish in mostly. Yes, and others I will just leave to God. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you so much. That was Kennedy. He's just won his heat in the 400 meters semi-final. Looks like today we finished the events for the day, and some of the take-home today was that the athletes, the grievances that they had have been listened to and have been worked on by the federation. The federation has promised to increase the numbers and has told the athletes to continue with the trials as scheduled, and the coaches will also be in touch. See you tomorrow as we go into our second day.
To Kimeu Mudhoka, the winner of the 400 meter semi-final number 2, and of course it's been a very eventful day today here at the Nyayo National Stadium. We didn't start really well in the AM, nothing much to talk about, but then action started just after 2 p.m. where we brought you plenty of action, including the 100 meters and the 200 meters heats. That is the semi-final. We went on to see who will make it to the 10,000 meters women final, and of course plenty of action, finishing with the 400 meters. That is the semi-final for both men and women. And of course, Steve, you've witnessed everything that happened here, and of course you have a story to tell heading into tomorrow.
Yeah, we had a false start, just like we did in the men's 100 meters semi-final one. But I mean, you just have to give it up for the athletes for just being patient, listening to the administrators as we try to get a solution for the whole issue that was going. But all that put behind, it's been really great. It's been great seeing all these great athletes competing here, and the most exciting thing is that it's not yet done yet. This was just day 1. Day 2 is going to be more fire.
Of course, you're are talking about more fire on day 2 and expect plenty of action, including the 20-kilometer walk earlier on in the morning, because 2 gold from the last edition that was held in Rabat were won by Kenya in the 20-kilometer walk race, and that means that tomorrow we'll be witnessing to see who takes part in the final list, rather who makes it to the final list of the All Africa Games that begin on Friday the 8th in Accra, Ghana. Still many events to come, including the steeplechase, and of course we'll be bringing for you every bit of action here through the social media pages, the Barnaba Corrida Athletics Kenya social media pages on YouTube. Also find us and also, of course, share and comment everything that is happening here. But for us, it's all about giving you the best piece of action tomorrow on day 2 of this All Africa Games, and we'll be here in the morning to see that, to make sure that everything that we were talking about goes on smoothly. Of course, it wasn't a very eventful first day, but then we saw in the PM everything happened well, and of course tomorrow we shall have things happening fast and furious. And on behalf of the rest of the crew, giving you bye-bye from the Nyayo National Stadium. Have a lovely evening and see you tomorrow.